Who is ready for story time with Miss Roberts? We have a really fun book this week. We're going to learn more about apples. We're going to be exploring all about apples for the next 2 weeks. But first, let's read a book about them. This is Apples by Gail Gibbons. An apple is a fruit. It grows on an apple tree. Apple trees grow in more parts of the world than any other fruit tree. They have been in existence for about 2 million years. The first American colonist brought apple seeds and seedlings with them from England. A seedling is a very young, small tree. As the colonists moved westward, they brought apple seeds and seedlings with them. Some settlers found that Native American Indians had already brought apple seeds west and had apple trees growing near their villages. Many times during the early 1800s, John Chapman traveled throughout the wilderness of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana, planting apple seeds. Also, he gave seeds and seedlings to the settlers there. He became known as Johnny Appleseed. Some apples are grown at home, but most are grown commercially. Each year, about 250 million bushels of apples are grown in the United States, and about 28 million bushels are grown in Canada. A group of apple trees is called an apple orchard, and this is a bushel of apples. They're in these big baskets. Ooh, an apple is a firm, crisp, fleshy fruit with a hard center called a core. The core has 5 seed chambers. So we have the apple, the stem, the core, and seed chambers. It looks like a star. This is the fleshy part, and this is the skin. In the springtime, flowers called apple blossoms begin to bloom on the apple trees. Each blossom has to be pollinated in order for an apple to grow. The blossoms are usually pollinated by insects or by the wind, by bees. Pollination happens when a grain of pollen from a stamen lands on the stigma of another blossom. So the bees carry seeds to another plant. Thanks, bees. After a while, the blossoms begin to die and apples start to grow. Throughout the summer, the apples grow bigger and bigger. Ooh. During the late summer or early fall, the apples ripen. These are called golden delicious. They're like yellow. When the trees are loaded with ripe apples, it is harvest time. Workers pick the apples by hand. Some are shipped to stores. Some are used to make apple juice, apple cider, apple jelly, apple sauce, and lots of other apple things. Ooh, I love apple cider. And some are sold in baskets at roadside stands. During the fall, it's fun to go apple picking. I went last year. Super fun. Also, there are county fairs. Awards are given to the best looking apples, the best tasting apple pies, and the most delicious applesauce. There is apple cider too. During Halloween, there are caramel apples and candy apples. Some people bob for apples. When winter arrives, the apple branches become bare. The trees will become dormant, which means they'll fall asleep until the next spring, when the trees will produce a new crop of apples. Wow, and look at all these apples we have. Whoa. Wow, and how to care for the apples. Wow, there are thousands of varieties or kinds of apples. They are nutritious and delicious. The end. I love apples. Miss Roberts sometimes eats an apple a day. My favorite are pink lady apples. What are your favorites?